In this video, we'll be talking about 1- and 2-player board games for your quarantined times, or any time that it's just the two of you sitting around looking for a game to play.
All right, so we've done reviews of most of these, so I'll make sure to put the more extensive reviews in the description down below. But we figured we would just collect kind of our favorite 1- and 2-player board games to play in these weird times.
All right, so let's start off with Straw from AEG. We've had this game for a long time. We've talked about it a couple of times. It's a really neat game. It is a push your luck hand management game that's great for the entire family. It's also going to be really nice with maybe younger kids. It's a way of trying to teach them the idea of math, because what you're doing is trying to add and subtract the weight of a pile of junk in order to win the round and get the most points. So Straw, it's a really fun one to start with.
Next up is a bluffing, deduction, and memory game, Dark is the Night from 8 Games. This is only a 2-player game in that you are playing a hunter and hunted, moving around the board, trying to find the other player or stay away for a certain number of rounds. So great little, very fast-paced game.
Absolutely. Yeah, it says it's a 15-minute game. I think we played a round in 2 minutes once.
Yeah.
So it's a great one if you just want to sit around and knock out a bunch of them. Koi is a hand management and grid movement game from Smirk and Laughter. It's a very, very pretty game where you're playing koi fish, running around, swimming around the pond, trying to find a bunch of stuff to eat and dealing with stones in your way and weather and all kinds of stuff. We really like this one, and this is a game that does have a 1-player mode. So maybe you're stuck at home or you're working from home and you live by yourself, or your partner or whatever roommate is still going to work and hopefully staying safe. It's got a 1-player mode, so definitely check that one out.
Next, we have Unearth from Brotherwise Games. This is a worker placement set construction game. You're playing as these like excavating these relics. It's rolling a bunch of dice and then placing the dice around. Really easy, fun game.
The art is beautiful.
Yeah, the art's beautiful. Good 2-player mode in the base game.
And also there is an expansion that has some cool little people down here and offers a 1-player version. So again, you can play by yourself with the board. So Unearth is a really fun one. Next up is Ticket to Ride from Days of Wonder. This is a really great classic game. It's hand management, resource management, building railroad lines across the map. And there's a bunch of different versions of this. There's a kid-friendly version. There's one with taxi cabs. We have the classic, all right? So Ticket to Ride is a longer game. So if it's the two of you sitting around and you're looking for a way to spend the evening, this is a really nice way to go. And potentially there's a 1-player version.
Yeah,
because
if you have a Amazon smart speaker, purposely not saying its name so it doesn't come on, apparently it will play with you. We haven't tried that out, but if we do, we'll add a comment down below letting you know what we think. Splendor from Asmodee. It's a set collection card drafting game. You are playing as collecting gem mines and trying to earn the patronage of nobles.
Speaking of patron...
Ding. And it's a fairly short-ish...
About 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, so it's a nice, if you're taking a break from doing something else, waiting for the pizza to get out of the oven, or just want kind of a nice, like, start off the game. We've even played a couple of rounds of this in a night. Very fun game to play.
So Suro from Calliope Games is a game that we really like. It's great for kids. It is a tile placement player elimination game where you're playing as dragons flying around, running around the board, following the different paths that you put down. And there's a couple of versions out there, Suro of the Sea and Suro of the Air, so you've got some options for you, and maybe pick out more than one of them, and you really have a good Suro-filled night.
Next up, we have Tack by James Ernest. You might recognize this if you read the Kingkiller Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss. This is a Go chess-like game where you're trying to build a connection between one side of the board and the other. Very basic
Heads up.
Pieces. Yeah, heads up. Very basic pieces that have different mechanics depending on how you lay them down. It's a fun, really good strategy game for 2 players.
Yep. And this is the version that you can pick up in bookstores or maybe find online. There's definitely high-end versions of TAC that cost hundreds of dollars. We picked this up for about 20, so you got some options there. Shadows in the Forest is a game put out by Think Fun. This is really neat. It's area of influence, and you're kind of playing as a team or cooperatively in the 2-person version. One of you is a lamp moving around the board, and there's trees that are in the way, and the other one controls a bunch of little like forest sprite type things. This is a really good one for the evening because you play it in the dark. It's maybe it's a little spooky, but it's mostly just a lot of fun. A really great game if you're playing with kids.
Yeah. I love that the lighting went dark just as you said, in the dark.
Yeah, that was kind of neat.
Parks by Keymaster game is another set collection worker placement game. You are traveling through the national parks, trying to collect various things. Everybody has their own individual goal. This also has a 1-player mode that is fantastic.
You've played it 1-player a number of times.
Yeah, it keeps the feel of the 2-player game, but adds in some nice little new park ranger mechanics that are really fun. So check out this game.
And the last game that we have for this is Takanoko by Bombix. This is tile placement, set collecting. It uses an action points mechanic. It's a very fun, beautiful game, as you can see. Really great to play with kids. You're a gardener and a panda bear running around trying to make the garden really pretty and eat bamboo. It's a pretty decent length, 15 to maybe 30 minutes or so, really easy to learn.
All right, so those are our suggestions for 2-player games. You can order these online, but also check with your local game store. I know a lot of them, like ours, are closed for events, but they are still allowing people to come in and buy things. They might have curbside pickup. Try and support local if you can do it safely. Otherwise, there is always ordering online and just having it sent to you.
A big thanks to all of our patrons, and especially to Arvi. If you want to support our channel, you can head over to our Patreon page and check out the perks of being a patron.
So have you played any of these games, 1-player or 2-player? Which are your favorites? Do you have a favorite game we didn't talk about that you can play either by yourself? How many people are going to say solitaire, right? Or with 2 persons. And maybe you're stuck home with a lot more kids or roommates or whatever it is that you have. Check out our other video that we're putting up, games that have a minimum of 5 players. I think you'll really like that one. So until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, wash your hands, don't touch your face, don't touch other people's faces, and we'll see you next time on Roll for Initiative. Bye. You know what's really great about the side-by-side shots and the framing for all of this?
What?
I'm not wearing any pants.